So I'm going to do a tutorial on how to make slime, and this is a liquid and solid slime. So the ingredients you're going to need is corn flour, also known as cornstarch in some places, a jug of water, a bowl, some glue, and also some washing up conditioner. So let's get started. So the first step to making the liquid and solid slime is to pour some of your corn flour into a bowl, and you can use as much as you want. It doesn't really matter, there's no set measurement to how much you need. So I'm just going to do that for now. So next thing you're going to do is pour in some water. You don't need to put in too much, it's just enough to make it thick. And you just keep adding it as you go. And just keep adding it until, if it becomes too runny, you can always add some more corn flour. It's like mine's too runny because there's not enough corn flour in it, so I'm just going to grab it with a spoon and just add in more corn flour. And give it another stir. And just keep doing this until you get a slime kind of consistency. So the footage of me actually adding the washing conditioner and the glue to it and mixing that up and adding a bit more water, actually the footage for that was lost. So that's what would have happened before this next clip. So mine isn't quite non-sticky just yet, so I'm going to add a tiny little bit more of this because I didn't add very much at the start. You don't want to add too much of this in there, otherwise it will ruin it. So again, oh, that dripped off my finger. I'm going to pour some in there, and you're just going to stir it in. If you do add food colouring, it doesn't make the consistency of it any different. It will just give it colour, obviously, because obviously it's runny, but it doesn't make a difference. So this should now hopefully be less sticky than before. It's not like fully, completely non-sticky like the normal kind of slime. It just means it doesn't go everywhere. As you can see, you can easily like peel it off your fingers. So a good way to test this is to get quite a bit in your hand. And it will be a bit sticky to start with, but if you just fiddle around with it, it's when you pick it up. And it should start to unstick and be more unsticky a little bit. I might just add a tiny bit more corn flour into it because it's still quite runny. I'm just going to stir all that in. This slime isn't going to be very, very stretchy. It'll just be more slime that you can like hold in your hands and then just make cool shapes with it, and it will be a bit runny. So then if it goes too hard, as an example like this, you're just going to want to put in another tiny drop. I tend to put some on the spoon so that if it goes out, so I don't get too much like that, you really only want a tiny little drop. Otherwise it will be way too runny and it won't be the kind of slime you want it to be. So once it is hard like this, you'll notice that it's probably not as liquidy as it was to start with, but that's because that's how it becomes non-sticky. So what you can do now is just take some of it out and hold it in your hands. I didn't make very much, obviously you can make as much as you want of this, and you can now hold it in your hands without it sticking, like getting absolutely everywhere. It will go powdery, and that is, your hands will turn a bit powdery. That is because of the corn flour. It does do that, it's supposed to do that, so don't worry about that if that ever happens. And what you're going to want to do is you're just going to want to put it in a nice container that has a lid that seals properly. So it has to have a very tight seal lid, otherwise it will dry out. And this stuff does tend to dry out pretty quickly, but you don't have to remake it, well you can if you want, but you can just add in a bit more water and go adding some of the washing conditioner and the PVA glue, and also a bit more corn flour if it comes too runny, and you're just going to put it in, and now you can play with it, and you can just hold it in your hands and you can just fiddle around with it. And that is how you make the liquid and solid slime. Thanks for watching, and there will be another tutorial soon. Bye guys! So in the video you just watched, it looks like I used Radox, but I didn't. This was an empty container bottle, so I just filled this container with Comfort Fabric Softener, or it's basically Comfort Fabric Conditioner. So I just put it into a different box, so it took up less space. So just thought I'd put that out there in case you ended up buying Radox and you couldn't find any of the same colour as this, or it didn't work. So just if anybody here was wondering, you can't actually make fluffy slime with this slime recipe. It has to be the normal slime recipe using either borax or almat. So you can't use shaving foam to make it fluffy or anything like that.